My back creaks in the morning dew. That mirror don't lie, and neither do bones. But I still bow down before his throne. The hammer slips in my weathered hand. These boots don't stand like they once did stand. I got one thing that time can't take, a heart that bends for heaven's sake. My knees still work just fine when it's time to talk to the Lord divine. They creak and groan, but they still fall down on holy ground or dusty ground. The world may shake, but I find my spine when I kneel. Yeah, my knees still work just fine. The doctor said, you need some rest. I said, Doc, I'm already blessed, 'cause every ache just reminds me more. I'm closer now than I was before. I've bent in sorrow, bowed in grace, fallen down in that quiet place. It's not the years, it's where you've been that shows where strength begins and ends. My knees still work just fine when it's time to talk to the Lord divine. They creak and groan, but they still fall down on holy ground or dusty ground. The world may shake, but I find my spine when I kneel. Yeah, my knees still work just fine. I prayed by bedsides, graves and firelight, through Sunday morns and midnight fights. And every time I hit the floor, grace comes knocking at my door. My knees still work just fine, though the rest of me's past its prime. But I'll kneel down till I'm called home, to where no pain can touch these bones, till heaven lifts this heart of mine. My knees still work just fine.
There's a cross beside the cornfield, leaning in the breeze. Weathered wood and rusty nails down among the weeds. Daddy placed it there one spring, said, son, don't you forget. This land is his, these hands are his, and grace pays every debt. Walk that dirt road every dawn, coffee in my cup, watch the sunrise kiss the field, and thank the Lord above. Mama prayed beneath that cross with tears and folded hands. Through drought and storm, that rugged sign still stands. The cross beside the cornfield holds more than just old wood. It's where the prayers of generations stood. Through sowing hope and reaping pain, through joy and loss and summer rain, it's faith that rooted deeper than the grain. The cross beside the cornfield still remains. I carved my name into that fence when I was just a kid. Right below the verse, Mama loved and Daddy hid. Now my own boy asks me why it leans and stays that way. I tell him, son, it's bowed like us when we kneel down and pray. It's not in stained glass windows or polished Sunday floors, but out where calloused hearts find what they're looking for. In simple signs and silent fields, His mercy still appears. That old cross has heard 1,000 whispered fears. The cross beside the cornfield tells stories without words of every broken hallelujah heard. It's grace and plow and gospel song where the Spirit's been all along. It don't need gold, it's made of nail and pine. The cross beside the cornfield still shines. So I leave my hat and troubles there in the hush of evening air. By the cross beside the cornfield, He meets me in the prayer.
There's a church just off the gravel road, white paint chip and stories old. The bell don't ring like it used to do, but the Spirit still stirs in that corner pew. That's where Daddy knelt most Sunday nights, head bowed low in the soft candlelight. Calloused hands, folded work boots worn, praying for peace in a world so torn. That's the pew where Daddy prayed through storms we faced and bills unpaid. He laid it down at the Savior's feet, every burden, every need. Now when I fall, I ain't afraid. I still feel Him in the pew where Daddy prayed. He never spoke in fancy words, just called Him Lord and meant each word. I learned more there than any school, that love is quiet and grace don't need rules. That's the pew where Daddy prayed, where I first saw man unafraid, where tears were fine and pride was low, and heaven felt just one breath below. Even now that wood ain't decayed, there's strength left in the pew where Daddy prayed. Now I bring my boy to that same row, and I teach him the way Dad showed. I say, son, this ain't just a seed, it's where men rise when they feel defeat. That's the pew where Daddy prayed, where his soul found rest and mine was made. Though he's gone, I hear him still, whispering hope when the night grows chill. Faith runs deep in the wooden shade. I come alive in the pew where Daddy prayed.
When the roof leaked, I still believed about holding on to faith. When the roof leaked, I still believed down. Moms, we had pots on the floor catching heaven's tears. The wind howled loud in them winter years. Mama lit candles when the lights gave out, but the flames in her prayers never filled with doubt. I'd lie in bed, hearing drip after drip. Rain sang hymns through every rip. That roof let it, and more than the rain, it let in faith through the midnight pain. When the roof leaked, I still believed. Dark molding on me down in nightness and the cold deceived. God's love held tight through every storm in a house that barely stayed warm. We had holes above, but grace beneath. When the roof leaked, I still believe about holding on to faith. Daddy said, boy, don't curse the rain. It's just proof that the sky feels pain. And faith ain't built on comfort or gold. It's the song you hum when the night gets cold. When the roof leaked, I still believed through broken dreams and worn out eves, worn out eves. Even when thunder shook my bones, I knew I never stood alone. The storms would come, but they couldn't thieve that quiet truth I still believed. Some folks wait for blue sky days, but I met God in the water's ways. He patched my soul while the shingles gave, taught me to worship and not just be brave. When the roof leaked, I still believed. Through every crack my heart received, mercy dripped down. With each new line, and I saw heaven in troubled times. So if life caves in, I won't retreat, 'cause when the roof leaked, I still believe about holding on too far.
Sun's barely rising on a field half plowed, boots kicking dirt where the earth ain't proud. Hammer in hand, I straighten the line, but my heart drifts off to a place divine. Between two posts and a sagging gate, I pause to breathe and contemplate. A whisper of wind, a crow on a wire, and I feel that still small spark of fire. It's a prayer between fence posts, out here where the work soaks. No stained glass light, no preacher's sound, just sacred ground and hallowed ground, where sweat and grace both come close. I send up a prayer between fence posts. My granddad taught me with calloused hands to mend the wire and trust God's plan. Said you don't need church clothes to pray, just talk to the Lord in your own plain way. It's a prayer between fence posts, where silence sings and hope floats. No choir's hymn, just a crow's reply, and the Lord's reply in the open sky. A moment of faith that no one boasts, a quiet prayer between fence posts. Some kneel in pews with their heads held low, but I bend down where the wild grass grows. And in that pause between work and rest, I find the words I never confessed. It's a prayer between fence posts, where heaven feels the closest. With dirt on my hands and dust in my lungs, I talk to the Father in my own tongue, a place more sacred than most folks know. Is that prayer between fence posts? The road was long, the stars were low, radio talking real soft and slow. The town lights faded in the mirror, and Doubt was driving close and near. But somewhere between the gaslight's glow, I felt a peace start to grow. God rode shotgun last night. Didn't say much, but it all felt right. I didn't see him, but I knew. In every mile the silence grew, through winding dark and yellow light. Yeah, God rode shotgun last night. The clock hit midnight, rain came down like teardrops falling without a sound. The highway whispered things I'd lost. He just listened, paid the cost. No thunderbolt, no blinding sight, just calm in that old cab light. God rode shotgun last night, through every left turn and inner fight. He didn't need to take the wheel, just sat beside and helped me heal. Not preaching loud or preaching right, he just rode shotgun last night. Some folks find him in churchyard stone, but I found him when I felt alone. In every mile of worn out prayer, he rode with grace in the empty air. God rode shotgun last night, while I poured out my heart at each red light. He stayed till sunrise, kissed the dash, and hope returned from all I'd crashed. No wings, no robe, no holy ride, just my Lord riding shotgun last night. And now I know when the road gets tight, he'll ride shotgun every night.
She ain't much to look at, got dents and a rattle. The paint's all chipped from a life full of battles. Bench seats torn and the mirror's gone blind, but I still find peace when I'm driving that line. Radio crackles with old gospel songs, and I hum along even when life feels wrong. A coffee cup Bible slides round on the dash, and prayers float up with the gas. Grace in the rusty truck, more than chrome or a coat of luck. She don't shine, but she don't lie, just like my Savior standing by. She's carried my sins in my coffee cup. Yeah, there's grace in the rusty truck. That old V8 groans like a preacher's sigh, but she's taken me home when I wanted to die. Through storms and silence, over guilt and gravel, she's the place I pray when life unravels. There's grace in the rusty truck when I'm broke down and feeling stuck. She don't judge the miles I've made, just rolls along through the mess I've laid. From Sunday roads to payday's mode, there's grace in the rusty truck. Some find church in a steeple high, but I met the Lord neath an open sky. With cracked vinyl seats and windows rolled down, His mercy found me on the edge of town. A sacred place in a cloud of dust. She's no shrine, just steel and grace. But I feel God in that simple space. No cross of gold, no preacher's tux, just grace. In the rusty truck,